Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Benton City Council meeting for June 20th, 2023. We're now calling the meeting to order. Okay. Let me see. Mrs. Funk, maybe you would be willing to read the Pledge of Allegiance to us. Lead us.
I'd be honored, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and
and justice for all. Thank you. And now we'll have roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilman Sandretto.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
Here.
Councilwoman Funk.
Here.
Councilwoman Alcazar.
She called in and told me that she would not be here.
Motion to approve an excused absence.
Second.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Great eye.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, the consent agenda. This will consist of the regular council meeting minutes for June 6th and bills and communications.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Great eye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now it's time for the approval of the agenda, and we are going to be adding an executive session. Mr. Hyde, would you please tell us what number that will be?
This would be under RCW 42.30.1101I.
Okay, and I think we will put that one in as J and move general council comments to K and adjournment to L, unless there are some other additions.
Nope.
Okay,
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
all in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Great eye.
Funk, aye.
Thank you. All right, motion carried. Are there any visitor comments for this evening? Does anyone in the audience?
Yes, hello.
Hello, could you state
This is
your
Ed.
name?
This is Edward Blom, 423rd Street.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last week, the minutes that are recorded under our session, you have, they have my name misspelled.
Oh, okay. How do you correct that, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you correct that, please? Tell me the spelling, proper spelling.
Well, I was served documents to the correct name. That's B as in boy, Lohm, my last name.
Okay,
I'll
make
that correction.
Thank you.
thank
May I
you.
please record the session?
It will be recorded.
Well, I would like to record it on my end. It says to ask for permission.
Yeah, yeah, as far as I know, it's okay. Is there any legal objection to that?
The executive session would not be accessible to recording.
That's
Right.
fine. I don't want to record the executive session. I'd
Okay,
like to record your session now.
okay, that's fine. It's fine with me.
Need to request again.
He needs to request it. Mr. Blum, can you request again on your computer?
All right, please. I sent you the,
We're working on it.
okay.
Scroll down on his name. There it is. It says the recording is on.
Yes, yes or no.
Not allowing me to yet.
See the three dots underneath of his message? Up. Oh, no.
Hi, I'm just looking.
Nope, down
Where?
to your left, to your left. Up.
Okay. Wait a minute.
See the three dots?
Just
right
hang
below
on,
that?
Mr. Bloom. We're trying to fix it on our end first. No,
Bless you. Thank you.
look where it says who can
You requested through a text. Not through, was it, she just come up yes or no?
But it's coming up as a message, a request. He'll be able to access it.
where that blue dot is. Can you click on that and allow it?
Blue dot.
We're trying to fix it on our end to allow you. Move over just a hair.
I don't, I don't see anything for me to click to do that.
Mr. Bloom, do you have it in full screen?
Yes.
Okay, change it to not full screen and you'll see the little row at the bottom.
Oh,
where
okay. I'll try that. Wow. No, I still don't. The blue dot on what? Where is it?
There at the bottom on mine, it says participants, chat, share screen, record, reaction, and apps.
Right?
Okay,
Like record.
record, yeah. It's not
Okay,
blue.
it's still asking me to ask. I'm still, it just says to ask permission still on that.
There you go. Try it now, Mr. Bloom.
Yeah, I think it's going now.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay. All right, moving on then to regular reports. Staff reports are in the packet. Code enforcement, do you wish to make a statement or just go with what's in the packet?
She doesn't have one for this meeting.
Okay, all right. Okay, then we have a planning report. Do we have a planning report?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. And this is Mr. George Kress, our city planner.
It's okay, we can share.
Good evening, Mayor, members of
Good evening.
council, George Kress, city planner.
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, we can share. Yeah, okay.
Planners report, I have a brief projects list of the projects. Whoops, the applications that are in the office. In addition to this, we have approximately 10 previous applications or files, but they're pending SEPA review, as well as waiting for the moratorium to be over. But these are some of the projects I've been working on recently. One is a site plan review on Dale Avenue for a 6,400 square foot industrial storage building. I completed the site plan review and it's fine. It looks really good. But they're going to go into SEPA and building permit pending review. The next project is engineering and site plan review on Horn Drive. This is an 18-unit multifamily development. And Alan recently and I, as well as other staff, reviewed this a couple of days ago for siting of water sewer, as well as looking at setbacks and parking. Those are some of the issues that we take a look at. The next item is a preliminary plat on 9th Street. This is a 52 lot subdivision. And we had an engineering review for placement of utilities and road alignment. Again, this was, I guess you consider it a pre-con here. And we went through it with staff as well as members from the irrigation district. The next item, today, I had a gentleman come in and he was interested in starting a short plat to divide a lot into 2 lots, as well as build a new residential single-family dwelling. And he will start that process next week, pending on the moratorium. I've been trying to catch up on the SEPA requirements, as well as other requirements here that the city has. So that's just a brief project review. Since about a week ago.
Thanks, George. We're glad you're here. I'm
Thank
Sarah Funk. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So one question that I have is, and again, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. Are any of these 4 projects being worked on in confidence, or are you able to disclose the names of the builders and people you're working with?
Yeah, until I purposely don't list their names yet until I've reviewed them and they come forward either to the planning commission or further.
In the past, we'd always receive that information unless they'd ask for confidentiality.
I can
So
provide
that's
that.
something I'd be interested in, both the address and the name, unless it's specifically asked
Okay,
for confidence. And it's all subject to public records requests. So I think the more information we can provide to the public up front saves staff time. We get a lot of public records requests.
okay, I will do that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And then my other question is about the more specific addresses is where some of these are located. So the property on Dale for the industrial building, where's it at? Is it west? Is it east? Where's that?
It would be west, and some of these are undeveloped property, so they don't have an address as such.
They just have plot numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll take a plot number. We can look them up. Super
Okay,
easy.
so if I have an address or a plot number and name, I will provide that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And how about the Horn Drive 18-unit multi-development? Where is that at in the city approximately?
You want to help Jen? with that?
Sure.
You can.
Jenny, City of Benton City. So Dale Avenue is, can I go ahead and tell them?
Yeah, this is.
Okay, so the one on Horn Drive is,
Oh, but if you have the information for Dale, let's just do it.
okay, let's do it. 1606
Mhm,
Dale Avenue.
mhm.
It's True Frame is the company they're putting in that commercial building, just like George said. And the apartments are 918 Horn Drive. It's 3 parcels that were lot consolidated here a while back. It is south of the skate park, east of the elementary school. So it's that empty lot
south of the skate park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
How about the one on 9th Street?
That's the. Two lot subdivision. Do you have an address for that?
We don't. That's the River North development that's going in. That's going to be Hayden Homes that is performing those homes and developing that area. Yes. So yeah, the access points are Hugh and 9th Street off of Kitty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions for Mr. Kress?
I guess one other question I have in general related to planning in the city is the status of reviewing the fee schedule and priority to get that approved.
We've got it with the attorneys right now to be, they're going through it to.
I need-
finish the review.
I need one part.
You need one.
We had, did you have some fees that are being plugged into that?
I included a fee per lot for new homes.
Okay, I have everything done with that. So I didn't get that. Did that go? to Sherry?
I did send that to Sherry.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
There's one other change I made on there too. They showed variances and conditional uses in the floodway. They were different than your conditional uses and variances further in, so it's have the same cost. Would be.
Excuse me, it would be best if you, both of you spoke into the mic.
If I have any questions on that, because I went by changes from the previous one. So if I have any questions, I'll get back with you.
Okay.
Okay. So, I guess the next thing is the committee meeting reports. Do we have any from council?
Since the last meeting, I attended the executive board or executive directors board for Ben Franklin Transit. Very short meeting, did it via Zoom. Approved one housekeeping type thing, and that's it.
Does anyone else have any committee meeting reports?
I do. So a couple things going on. TriDeck reached out to me because the city of Benton City has been invited to attend a specific economic development projects for small cities update this Friday, June 23rd from 8:45 to 10 a.m. with Coffee for Carl. And I received an email because they're pending feedback if Mayor Lehman's able to attend or if we need an alternate. I'm not able to attend because I'm in previously committed meetings. Are you able
Yes.
to attend, Mayor Lehman?
No, I'm not. I'm in Spokane.
Okay.
At AWC annual conference, but maybe Mr. Kress could go in my stead. Would you
And
be
I'd
willing?
extended an invitation, first of all, to our pro tem mayor, Bill Reed, or David Sandretta to see if either of them were able to attend, but I asked them to make the consideration and not copy me to make sure we weren't in violation of any Open Public Meetings Act. So I just ask, since we're in a public meeting, if either of them are able to attend, even if it's in conjunction with our planner.
I have a prior commitment at that time.
And I'm at work, so.
Okay.
I would love to attend.
We
but-
got you. So what I need to do is we need to just add George onto this email string, and I'm gonna do that right now, so you can be in contact and know how to connect. Was this on your radar already, George?
No.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine.
It'll be super fun. It'll be great. And it'll be a really good news story for the city of Benton City. We appreciate you.
Okay.
And I'm sure that Tracy would be happy to run through it in advance if you have any questions, and I'd make myself available via phone if that's useful for you as well.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to comment on about Benton City and stuff going on is the Benton City Revitalization Organization has completed the 3 kiosks and painting of those kiosks. And a big thanks to our community partners. We're working to get the map replaced. It's in design already. And we'll have one at Sportsman's Park. We'll have one at 14th Street. We'll replace the one at Kaiby Market and replace the one at the roundabout, and it'll have existing businesses, all of them that we know of, along with a lot of other features like parks, everything else. And it also has a QR code that links you into more up-to-date information and the opportunity to provide more information on whatever else you'd like added. Because it's a real-time update, obviously not to the printed version, but that's something I think in the next 6 weeks, they'll probably have printed and installed, which is really exciting to have those up to date. The other thing is that the orbital marker, if you've been out on the walking trail, you might have noticed that the 6 signs haven't held up quite as well as we'd like. And the vendor is going to reprint those complimentary. They think there was a problem with their anti-graffiti coating that they put on those signs. So I'm not sure when those will be installed, but I'd anticipate that that's going to happen in the next 6 weeks also. Once they get printed, we have to go out and like get all the screws in the right place and have to schedule that with the team. But I think that's a good news story because a couple of them look extra bad. And then that's what we got. So we're going to work on getting those kiosks finished up. And Tridec also commented that they're going to get Benton City listed on their website, which I think is a great thing for people who are visiting the community to know more about Benton City and our history and be linked up to the city website. So those are updates I had. Yep, those are updates I have.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? If not, I want to report that I attended the BFCOG meeting, and the good news is that the main bridge coming into town is going to be painted. However, it's not going to happen real soon. They will be looking at cleaning it and painting it, but it will start in 2024 and the paint will go on in 2025. Also, there's been quite a change in the urbanized area map, which was produced by BFCOG, and quite a lot of the area that was previously considered urban is now not considered rural any longer. It's now considered urban. So that has it's advantageous to us because we are one of the small cities that are still considered rural. And that's what I have to report there. Okay, moving on then to the sheriff's report.
Well, good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
So for the month of May, we had 151 calls for service. Once again, the calls have gone down from the previous year, which was 242 in the year or the previous year. Out of those 151 calls, we had 16 case offenses where our deputies actually had to take reports. And then we also issued a total of 5 infractions within the city limits. So not a whole lot going right now, which again is good for us. It is summertime, weather's getting nice, and we expect things to pick up, but we will have our guys out here working.
So I've been getting a lot of heat lately. So don't take offense to the question. What would it take for us to get somebody out here to run traffic 2 or 3 times a day?
Well, we have a permanent deputy out here.
Yeah.
That's running traffic, taking calls for service.
But I'm getting specific heat on, Main Road, 7th, 14th. And I know you guys have done some emphasis on that, but I'm talking just specifically for that. What would be cost wise or anything of that nature?
Well, if you have my email address, send me an email. If you the information that you're getting, if you could please send me like the time frames of when it's in the evening hours, daytime, morning hours, we can focus a little bit more. With traffic enforcement, it does become a difficult thing for us, and we've talked about it before. A lot of our enforcement is just being visible within the cities. So when we do get the traffic complaints, we will send a deputy into that area. We sit there, they're visible, and typically that's a deterrent for people to slow down. It never fails. As soon as that deputy leaves for a call for service, then somebody will call and say, there was a vehicle speeding in this area. And then we go right back out there. You can sit there for hours. But if we can try to narrow down the time frame when the traffic complaints are happening, we can try to be out there at that time. Now, with that being said, calls for service, obviously, if we have to respond to a call for service, we're gonna have to respond.
Well,
But if you give me the locations and stuff, we can definitely look at that again. And I will make that happen.
thanks.
Commander Clark, I wanted to let you know that I touched base with the sheriff today. Previously, I don't know if you were here then, but we signed an agreement with the sheriff's department to pick up on code enforcement and some of the dog problems and noise when our code enforcement person wasn't here in the evenings. And I think that fell through the cracks. So I'm going to be meeting with Sheriff Krosky on Monday morning to see if we can't get some relief for our code enforcement, because we did go through and conform all of our regulations to match the county regulations in those areas. So we're hoping that we can still have some assistance.
Yeah, I talked with Sheriff Crosby this afternoon about that, and I'm aware of
Okay.
and I will be there. I know that in the past, there were some issues with the city ordinances matching with the county codes. But I think on Monday, when we meet, we will be able to discuss that and try to get a game plan moving forward.
Okay, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to throw something out there. The sheriff's department with the recent fires. They were there, they were in full force. Every time we turn around, there's a deputy. Got in there, helped us with the evacuation notices and stuff like that. Can't thank you guys enough. Got the roads closed off, I mean, you guys took care of an abundance of problems that we didn't have to.
Yeah. No,
So hats off to you guys.
we appreciate that, and I'll share that with the guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Gals. So, and then we can talk more, or send me that email. We'll help out with that traffic.
I'll get with you some.
Okay.
Also big thanks, I think, to the district, to fire department. I mean, it's been a crazy time both on
Yeah.
the law enforcement side and fire district over the last couple of weeks, and huge things.
And then fire
Yes.
department always has a door open for our guys to stop in for coffee.
Always.
So it's nice.
I also wanted to say something about the wonderful job that was done out there. I went around and looked at some of the wineries and the fire over by Red Mountain and the one across the way. And it's amazing how close those fires got, but you were able to stop them. And one of the things that impressed me was driving through the vineyards up on Red Mountain, and you could see where the fire stopped. And then the first 2 to 3 rows of the vineyard were just toast. But then the whole rest of the vineyard was preserved. So I think it was a miracle that you were able to save some of those houses, because it came right up to them. You could see that. And I think Scout Energy and the governor should come out and take a look at this, because if we put turbines, 600-foot tall turbines up there, you can't maneuver a DC-6 or a Rockwell Aero Commander in the space of like a Piper Cub, and most of the shots that were taken showed that those planes came from the top of the mountain down. And I think a lot of it's going to depend on the wind direction and the strength as to which way you can even fly to put those fires out. And with those turbines, it's definitely a risk to the people. I don't see it, how it could be taken any other way.
We were just thankful we had law enforcement, mutual aid partners from around the region, Yakima to Walla Walla. immediately by the next morning, we had everybody from Tumwater to Spokane Valley out helping us. Federal and state partners, BLM, Fish and Wildlife, everybody just kind of threw what they had at it. It was not a very good situation. And to be honest, I didn't think we were going to get as lucky as we did. So, yeah.
It's pretty scary. So thank you all for that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Chamber of Commerce report.
Right. All right, so you guys can see from our report that we gave you, all of our numbers are up from last quarter. We've got some more businesses that have joined. We are still doing our monthly luncheons the first Monday of every month, and we would love to see some of you guys there. Our last one was the Benton Franklin Workforce Development Council, and it was amazing. There's so much opportunities for local businesses and youth. So that was a really good one to go to.
During the quarter, I worked with Sergio and Jose, and we made a map for DOT so that we're all on the same direction for the parades and the road closures and all the new changes that we made over the last couple of years.
Easter, I don't know if any of you guys were able to come out. We did like 8,200 eggs. It was a lot of fun. My kids don't really think so because they stuffed all of those with us, but it was really cool to see all the kids come out and, you know, get in their bikes and turn in their gold eggs. So it was a fun event. The Easter Bunny was down there. Our vice president was taking pictures, and his son did not want to see the Easter Bunny. So Mother's Day was so much fun. It was my first time being involved with that. And again, it was just a great thing to see the community out there. We had a lot of people come from out of town, Yakima, Hermiston, Sunnyside. There was more people from out of town than there was from our town. So they said they can't wait to come back next year, which is really good for us. Music was good. Food was good. It's just a good time overall. Movies in the park. My first one going to that, and there was 120 people there. We went around, counted, and handed out glow sticks, and there was no trash when we left, which is great. Everybody was helping clean up, and so that was a good one.
We also had Revival and a Cup out there selling concessions, so we were able to help a business locally come out and make a little extra couple money.
Yeah, and they sold out of everything.
They
there.
sold out, yes.
They were excited about that.
The Risley family of Benton City actually presented us with more money for scholarships this year. So we had a total of $2,600. We had 8 recipients for scholarships. We had 8 people apply. So we thought, let's just split it up between all of them. We had our main winner who got the $500 one, and then 7 other ones got $300 each. So we went to the awards assembly and presented each of them with a framed certificate and sent off checks to their schools. The community-wide yard sale had over 60 households join us. It was the biggest one yet. It was crazy busy. I don't know if you guys were in town, but there were cars coming in and out of town all day long. The businesses were packed. Everybody was happy. Got rid of a lot of stuff in town, and Community Thrift put a trailer out by Sunrise Vet for us and took all of the leftovers so that code enforcement didn't have to deal with that the following week.
You can see from some of the flyers that we gave you, we kind of switched up Benton City Days a little bit this year and doing like a kids takeover. So it's Benton Kitty Days. We're going to try and do more family events, bounce houses, just like a kids carnival area. And we're going to be bringing back the street dance. We're working with the Palm to close off the roads and bring back that part of the event, which is a lot of fun. We've got 4th of July coming up, National Night Out. And our second Movies in the Park will be in July. We'd love for you guys to come out and see that one. It's Super Pets. It's going to be a good one, I think. So, yeah, pretty good.
And if any of you are running for election, Benton City Days, grab your tables now. They're already filling up very quickly. We released vendors. So they're coming in like crazy. So.
Good one. And yeah, you guys have any questions for us?
Sounds like you're doing good work.
It's fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank
So,
you.
thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll move to items for discussion. The first item is the number and size of city flags. JB.
John Brown, Deputy City Clerk. So any thoughts on the flags from the council? We have 3 flag poles, library, community center, and the main one coming in town. So we would like 3 flags on there and a 4th flag for the chamber, this room. All 3 by 5s.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm
As
good
a
with it.
start, sounds great.
As a start.
Okay,
We can revisit in the future, expanding that.
okay.
Right now, I want to be cautious in that expenditure myself. I think I'm on the same page as Councilwoman Funk and making sure that all our pennies are in a row. So. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Anybody else?
No, I think this is a great start.
And if I can comment from reading the agenda minutes, I know I wasn't present at the last council meeting when there was more discussion. I think as we work to continue to get estimates, and I know we were talking about putting signs on some of the, flags on some of the streetlights, and I appreciate there's a cost. I think City Kennewick could be a real good resource because they're going through it now. So I know we have some costs and estimates, but maybe there's something they're able to help us leverage since they're ahead of us. That will be helpful for time to be on our side as we continue to work on planning for that.
Okay.
It looks great. We've got a lot of compliments on the flag. Trideck wanted to know who designed it, and the county had the same comments. So I think just sharing it around and keeping Benton City on people's mind. All the best parts of Benton City. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, and I'll get those ordered up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next discussion item is one that we started last time. And kind of got derailed. Moving forward, we're going to need additional help. And I've spoken to all of you individually about the reasons. But once this moratorium lifts, we're going to be behind. We have one of our maintenance men going out for some hand surgery. Not that he injured his hand here, it was a previous L&I injury, but he still has to have the surgery. Our mowing person, our part-time mower, took a job to get some hours for CDL as a truck driver. So we are down that person. So my preference of what to do, and I have discussed all of this with the union, and I would like to have first and foremost someone to replace Wade so he can go on vacations and help him at the shop. And that person to me is the most important. The next most important person is getting a foreman, because we're going to be having over 1,000 units going in across the road. And as you've heard, we've got a number of subdivisions waiting in the works over here. We're having trouble keeping up with things the way they are. And when that moratorium lifts, I don't think we're going to have enough staff. The other thing is I would like to have someone that's working at least most of their time on vehicle maintenance and keeping the PPE in good shape. A lot of the respirators and things that were needed, we found were not charged. That holds people up, that stops work. We need to have the shop arranged so that it can be, things can be inventoried and replaced as we need it. And so that would be moving one person to that position and then working as needed in maintenance also. And then I would like to change the summer hire half-time position to a full-time position now, so that they can be trained and ready to go once the moratorium lifts across the road. And here, we're just going to need the help. So that is my preference and my plan for getting us through this time. And I think I'd like you to consider that. I had asked Sherry, I don't know whether she's completed it or not, to look at the money situation, but I did not get a chance to talk to her. So I know we had worked out where the plant operator and the foreman, we thought we could afford that. The vehicle maintenance is only $3 or $4 increase on that person's current salary. And the summer hire, I don't know what a full-time person is, about $25 an hour for maintenance one position. So I'd like to get some direction as to whether I can move forward with some of this. We're just sitting there and it's going to be a disaster.
So a couple of things here, Madam Mayor. I do not disagree. I do not disagree with you at all about Wade's an assistant. I know that's been a long-term concern and I would vouch for that. One of the things I would like to do is sit down in a finance committee meeting and look at these numbers. That way there's no misconstruing or misinterpretation of anything in the budget without any time to look at that. I do have two questions. Number one, I'm going to start with the parks. You had just stated that we had lost one parks person, and it's my understanding our seasonal also went to go get another job. So who do we have mowing lawns right now?
Most of the maintenance staff.
Okay, so my question is why have we not filled our parks facilities position, lead tech? That person is capable of taking care of the parks.
I don't want to refill the lead positions. I think that was a major problem in division of the staff. And speaking with Russell, I would like to have a foreman, a supervisor, and then all the rest of the people just be part of the crew and be used where they're needed in that way.
Needed in specific job functions or just wherever they need to be that day? Are we one day making people mow lawns, the next day they're doing water, the next day they're doing streets?
That's what they're doing now. Yes, that's what they're doing now. We can, I think, dedicate people during the summer to the parks, but they have to be flexible. We're too small to, keep doing this. Marco was amazing and he worked hard and he got a lot of stuff done. Right now, that's not happening. We're taking them as, basically it's our shop maintenance person and the new fellow are mowing.
So I am kind of concerned about us not having anybody in that parks and facilities, but at the same time, we're using other people that could be being used for their specific job function.
Exactly.
Coming into the moratorium, my question is why are we not refilling parks and facilities directly? Because if our general maintenance isn't doing parks and facilities, they can do their job, the shortage of the moratorium, their piece of that.
I'm willing to hire somebody, but I don't want to have them be a lead. I want to do away with those two leads and run this all under a foreman.
Okay, and that's my last question. I keep hearing this foreman term come up. Where in the hierarchy here would we put the foreman? Would they be?
They would be a supervisor.
Okay, so general union terms, foremen are direct supervisors over specific tasks. They're not necessarily supervisors, but they guide the work site that's being worked on. If we're looking at this foreman as being somebody up in a supervisory role, I think we've mistitled that job description or mistitled that specific function.
Yes, it is, and I went into it knowing that when I made the supervisor position, I still had him answering to the foreman. And unfortunately, someone took the foreman position off of the schedule. I don't know who did that.
So you're saying this foreman would be above supervisor?
Yes, and if you want to call him something different, I want someone that can run this operation from the Public Works, the whole project.
So what about the other option of a city administrator or even a public works director?
Public Works Director, as long as he's got the foreman experience and can run the crews. A city administrator is not going to run the plant and he's not going to be out there running the crews.
With respect, Mayor, a city administrator can run the office and help support getting administrative functions back on track for succession planning to a next mayor, so that we're going into 2024 in a strong position to understand what our budget position is. We absolutely need the support for the team. The team that we have here, all of the staff are doing a great job and they're working hard, and we have more work than ever. We're doing more complicated work than ever. We have more questions than ever, more scrutiny.
I understand your position, but I think with the money we have got to invest it in the crew.
And respectfully, Madam Mayor, when you look at the fee schedule for some of these things, I don't think a city administrator is much more expensive. So I'm happy, it's not discussion time here, but I'd love to call for a vote for direction from council to advance the mayor and administration's directive on how to move forward. And I believe that we're entitled to do that. I know that that won't happen tonight, but I'd suggest that that be an agenda item, and I'd like to request that it is, with us having numbers around it. I'm absolutely supportive of us adding more staff, and we need to get through it. I understand the ordinance in front of us is related to people who are here because we need to have this approved. We are operating the city with no ordinance for people who are working here, including a position that got approved that was a new position that personally I didn't really understand and definitely wasn't budgeted for and was not part of our CBA.
What position are you talking about?
The additional maintenance utility worker #1, who was confirmed earlier this year.
Yes, he replaced Marco.
He has a different title. If he replaced Marco, he should have had the same title. That's not part of our CBA.
I discussed it with the union.
Okay, do we have an?
I didn't do anything without the union's permission.
This is where we need the documentation or proof. And again, my recommendation is I think we need to have a finance committee meeting, and we either need that documentation or proof, or we're gonna have to have our union leader present at that to consult with on this issue.
That's fine. I spoke with him today. If we can get him here, I will.
Yes, I'm okay with that direction. I think the finance committee really needs to look at the dollars and cents and see it, work that piece out before we make any moves on this.
I'm also in favor of that. And so my understanding as of this morning is Springbrook's still working and coming through some of the numbers. And so I think to have that meeting, we need to have the numbers sorted, and I know the staff is working diligently to make sure that happens.
Well, I think we've had this conversation over the last 6 weeks that we want to see the numbers, and it's just not coming forward. So my point still stands. The finance committee should come back with a reasonable expectation of what can be done with what we have.
It's not clear to me what our financial picture is of the city, period, full stop for 2023.
I understand that.
When that's available, I'm happy to meet. And if someone else would like to replace me on the finance committee who'd like to step in my place because I'm not comfortable without having actual figures in front of me, then I'm happy to remove myself.
That tells me that the right person's in the job.
And I think the staff is working very diligently with the vendor to make sure that it's resolved. Which numbers are you looking for as far as payroll? Actual to budget for everything. We can't keep moving things around and saying we have it in this bucket and we have it this bucket. And then we're out of sync. I think we're a little bit out of sync right now. And I understand from an email this morning with Sherry that we're working on it, but it's not there. Sherry, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so I'm happy to have a finance committee meeting. I want to have that. I need time to review the numbers once they're resolved so that we can have an efficient session. That's, and I'm happy. I will block off as much time as you need, as much time as you want. Once Springbrook has resolved the issues and staff is confident that we have budget in the right column, actuals year to date, proposed because we understand how the system works. And then we're ready to move forward. And I think we'll move forward very quickly. They're just numbers. There's less than 900 rows and lines in our general ledger. It's just complicated. And we've got to give staff time to work through that before we have a finance committee meeting. If we don't have numbers, it's not an efficient session for me to attend. I can't comment on it. I have to display my opinion on it.
No, I'm totally, if you need them to get that fixed, let's get that fixed first.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's looking for an arbitrary shift here, right? We want to make sure that we are covered. The worst thing that could happen is that money gets misallocated or inappropriately used, and then we're stuck. And we have to go out for bond or loan or something like that. So again, finance committee meeting after the budget gets resolved, determine what we can do and how we can do it. And bring that back to the full council.
Perfect. And the meeting that I do think is important to have as a finance committee is as soon as possible, which needs to include the union representative or have documentation, is around the April 18th, 2023 confirmation of maintenance utility worker number 1 being okay to replace the parks and facility lead technician. We just need to see the documentation or schedule a finance committee meeting that includes our union representative to make sure that that is cleared so we can move forward more expeditiously and have that off the plate for something that we're discussing.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm good with it.
So let me just confirm, you want something in writing from Russell that's okay to have hired Tony.
We don't need
versus-
to use the name, that we've hired a maintenance utility worker number 1. And that even though it's in our CBA, that we're going to have a lead technician for parks and facilities 1, that we do not intend to replace that role, and there's no problem with the union.
Like I said, I met with him today, so he will be happy to write something for you. He asked me to call him tomorrow to see what it thinks.
We'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then we're moving on to items for approval. The first is resolution 2023-13, authorization for the mayor to sign addendum number 1 to the personal services agreement for on-call services for the city of Benton City.
Any discussion on this? Okay, George, I think he was in favor of it because he needs the assistance in the transition, so. I'm okay with it. I motion to approve resolution 2023-13, authorizing the mayor to sign the addendum number 1 to the personal services agreement with on-call planning services for the city of Benton City.
Second.
All in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
Reed, aye.
Sarah Funk, aye.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is the first reading of ordinance 1054 and ordinance amending ordinance 1051, salaries and benefits. That's Carla.
Well, I believe, as Ms. Funk stated, we need to have a finance committee meeting once all the figures are taken care of.
The ordinance in front of us, Madam Mayor, still includes the lead tech parks and facilities position. So if it's not the desire of you to refill this position and it's been excluded and documented properly from anything with the union, then it shouldn't be on the ordinance. I make a motion to table this resolution with this ordinance until the next meeting. For lack of information and clarity.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, that's tabled till the next meeting.
There needs to be a vote.
May I make a suggestion that this be a topic for our planning workshop, actually, because I'd also like to then add a transition plan as a topic.
Our next-
And then we can approve it because we're not having our July 4th meeting.
Oh, that's
Are we
right.
able to do this
Yes,
in our
yeah.
July 10th workshop to have this as a continued discussion? So we're able to expedite this without further delay.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Do you, Dan?
No, you can make that workshop also a special meeting.
Can you make further packets? Thank you.
Okay. All right, then the,
Still need a
Mayor,
vote.
there needs to be a vote on this
oh,
motion.
sorry. Okay, yes. So the vote is that it's tabled until July 10th.
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, aye.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is the second reading of ordinance 1056, an ordinance of the city of Benton City, Washington, declaring public use and necessity regarding Carroll Avenue Extension, utility and right-of-way, and authorizing condemnation. Mr. Hyde.
This is the second reading of the ordinance that we previously discussed. And nothing's changed in the text of the ordinance. It would just be a prerequisite for legal action to pursue condemnation, which would, of course, put the matter before a court, and the court would decide what the city could get and what the city would need to pay.
Motion to approve on second reading ordinance 1056, ordinance the city of Benton City, Washington declared public use necessity regarding lab extension utility and right of way and authorizing condemnation.
Okay,
Second,
all in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, aye.
okay.
Okay, motion carries. All right, moving on to the second reading of ordinance 1057, creating and establishing a new section 2009-015 of the municipal code and creating the municipal code chapter 2015, 2018, 2021, and 2024 of the municipal code and amending sections 2051, 030, 2051, 070, 2057, 70, and 2060, 110 related to zoning and development standards. Mr. Kress.
You have anything to add to that?
Perhaps I can help out a little bit here. This was previous first reading. There were several proposed changes. Those changes were made on page 3 to add larger front setbacks for larger vehicles that might be in the driveway, and also to clarify the side yard setbacks so that for the most part, or for all but the agricultural zone, they would be 10 feet per side rather than a total of 20 feet. That specifies that difference. The only other change was on page 18, where we struck language that referred to the passage of emergency vehicles. And I think that that was all that was suggested at the time.
Yes.
So motioned.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, aye.
okay.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 5, resolution 2023 1B, or is that 18? I'm sorry. 6-year transportation improvement plan. Is Mr. Rainey here?
He is not.
He's not. Okay.
I motion to approve the 6-year transportation plan with the addition of the 9th Street between Kitty and Jane. That's it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Andrew, I.
Rogers, aye.
Reed, I.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 6, hydrant replacement on Jane Avenue. Jose?
So, we have another hydrant that we need to purchase for repair on, Jane Avenue in Legion Heights area. Lately hydrants been going down like domino effect, so, but we're just need to purchase another hydrant so that way we could, replace the existing one and, yeah, move forward.
And there's no capability to repair.
No, that one is unrepairable because of parts and how old it is.
It's in Iowa.
Yeah. Those are no fun, and I know the fire department probably knows that.
Jose, do we keep any of these in stock?
Not those ones because of parts and stuff, and usually when they go out, it's the stem system that operates the hydrant itself. We do keep inventory of a couple other different styles that we do have around town.
So that's the same question to Kyle Kurtz when he was here. And one of the things, just as he alluded to, is stem length is a big issue. And so typically they order the hydrants for the depth at which they're buried. And this is an interesting thing. All the hydrants, depending on where they're located and where the water lines run, are at different heights. So some of them could be 3 feet, some of them could be 10 feet. So
for that reason, sometimes the parts are not exchangeable. There is some parts that could just transfer over just fine, but we do have probably like 4 or 5 hydrants that we have in stock for just in case parts, I guess, last minute parts.
And Jose, let me ask you this, like fire hydrants, and we've got a smart group here. Fire hydrants is something that like, these things just keep falling apart. And so we actually need to be thinking about it in our capital plan. We are gonna have a replacement plan for more of these, or not really. This is kind of rare, even if they're old. Like, do we have a lot of these things that are at their life?
No, I don't think so. I think me and Dennis have talked about creating a program to kind of work in conjunction with the fire department to exercise hydrants, just to make sure we evaluate that they're operable. And not only that, he also mentioned a couple of the like volunteers and stuff like that would probably be perfect to go out there and do an full assessment of hydrants at least once a year or twice a year. So that is in the works between me and Dennis.
to give you my insight on it, I think we've had about 12 hydrants go bad, or they were inoperable over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So it does happen. I don't know that it's something. Let me rephrase that. I think there should be a contingency bucket, and I think we have some of that. Because we will probably have one fail here or there for one various reason or another. Some of the older hydrants in the older sections of town, one of the biggest problems with them, I think you can allude to this, is just the fact of water rust things, pipe, bolts. I remember one hydrant, the bonnet was, you'd turn it on and the bonnet would raise up and it'd squirt out. And so, I mean, those are things that happen over time. And it's just because they're getting old.
Yeah.
Well, so that's my question. Like when you think about all the fire hydrants we have and you've only had 12 go bad in 25 years, if we have 100 of them, if we've got 200 of them, I don't know how many we have. Is it gonna be this plan where all of a sudden every year we need to be working on a maintenance plan now because they're old, that we need to be replacing fire proactively? And you're gonna be doing the stress testing with the fire department, which is gonna lead us to the fact that we're gonna
find
have to make
faults.
another plan. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
find
gonna-
faults, and that's part of the program, and it's important. I mean, look at all these fires going on. We're not even in the heat of it, or thick of it yet.
Yeah,
It's
that's
super
very true.
important. That's like maybe getting to the bigger part of my question is like, is there a plan we need to make on a multi-year scale to help make sure that we're just putting enough aside?
Well, it's not a bad idea, no. I'm just trying to give you some insight
sure.
as to where we probably
sure.
need to be. I mean, so there's always a danger in budgeting, right? If you over budget or you under budget, you stockpile money, you don't. You got to have a reasonable plan. And the problem is I don't know what that number is, and I don't think you have a good grasp on how much we're gonna have to stock away over the years as we expand the city. We're installing more and more hydrants, right? And I
Right.
see where you're going, but I don't know at what rate those are gonna start failing.
Well, it sounds like it's not a big concern, so I just want to ask a question.
Well, that's part of the reason why me and Dennis talked about the program, so that way we can evaluate the good from bad and start, then come back to council. I think at least number wise, maybe set aside, $15,000-$25,000 as a budget line item for hydrants. Just because recently we had uptick on hydrants going bad. So,
I motion to approve the purchase of a fire hydrant from Core and Main in the amount of $4,303.99, which includes sales tax.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
read I.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
motion carries. Thank you. Okay, then the next item, item 7, is the bias Springbrook training for 2 employees. Carla?
And we have to have Sherry help me with this. She had looked up some numbers. They actually have bias training. Unfortunately, it's in Vegas. But it digs into hands-on training with payroll, with just all of the bookkeeping things, our accounts payable, our bank recs. And because they don't have a whole lot of training available unless you're doing it online, or they just do it to just get you through. This is the first one that we've seen that actually pertains to what we do and attempt to do on a daily basis. And maybe we could get a better grasp on how in the heck to take care of a lot of this stuff. So we're requesting to go.
I think it's awesome. My only comment would be is if some of these topics are more critical that you've highlighted than others, I mean, don't wait for the training. Bring us back a quote so you can get them to help you remotely and set aside time
Well-
too. Do the training also.
Well,
But if
Yeah.
it's something beyond support that would be helpful, I mean, we want to make your jobs easier and more efficient. So-
yeah, and I mean, this is just their schedule that they have highlighted. The whole day on whatever day it was to Thursday. We'd be in different classes covering the whole thing all day long. Just to get what we need out of it.
Is 2 people enough people to send?
Well, we're the ones that deal with these specific things.
Would you need Cassandra to go or anybody else also?
I don't know at this point. I don't think so. It's a possibility if anybody, I don't know. We would have to decide if somebody else would need to be involved in it.
I motion to approve Rise Springbrook Accounting System Training in Las Vegas for 2 employees.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, aye.
read I.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, then the last item for approval is a contract for Tate Architects. As you know, we ran into a snag with getting the bids on City Hall because the City Hall changes were not done by an architect. So anyway, she has looked at doing this, and it will cost $4,200 for her to revise the plans. And then we can get the permits. We can get the estimates done on City Hall. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, didn't we pay some money for some consultants to help us with this very recently already? They weren't architects?
Yes, we did, but when he went to get bids for the HVAC and some of the other stuff, they can't give us the bids on what we're proposing because they had to give it to us on using the whole big HVAC, and we don't want to do that. We think we can save about $175,000 by using mini splits. So that is the difference. We had to get the architect to design it.
How much did we pay the consultants that came to the last couple
I
meetings?
think around, he's worked on it for quite a few months. He did all the asbestos work and everything, and that was about 14,000, I believe, something like that.
Is there gonna be any like, since he's not an architecture firm and he did the asbestos work, is that gonna preclude us from
No,
any
it's
other work? Like,
it's only
the
the
state
HVAC. It's only the HVAC. And we should hear whether we get the bid, the 167,000 by the end of this month or the 1st of July. From
I
Skylar.
would table this till we hear the feedback on the rest before we make a bigger investment of money if we've already spent $14,000 and have to redo work. I motion to table this until
Well, we're not having to redo any work. We're just trying to get bids. And in order for them to bid it, there has to be an architect's drawing. So that's what we needed to do.
Maybe just more of a discussion, tabling it and having a discussion on how we're gonna, what our thoughts are about moving forward on this.
You got a time frame you want to table to, Sarah?
I'd suggest we table until July 18th, because it sounds like by then we'll have had more information on all these other pieces. And, sometimes with the holidays and stuff like that, it can get delayed. So if we postpone this discussion until July 18th, sounds like we'd have all the information that we need.
Okay,
I'm good with that. I think that will give us enough time to review some of these things.
Madam Mayor, do you think that's enough time to have feedback on the 176,000?
Is yours a second, Jessica?
Well, she was interrupted making the original table motion. She was interrupted, so she didn't get to.
Just trying to think if we're going to discuss it.
Okay.
yeah,
Can we-
are you on second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
I think we were in the middle of a discussion.
Madam Mayor, is July 18th, from your understanding, enough time to get the rest of the information? It sounded like you thought we'd have it by the end of this month.
Well, that's the latest numbers I've gotten from Skylar Rood's office, is that we're still in there, but we won't know till the end of the month or the 1st of July. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll come across then. Can try it.
Okay,
So we vote?
well, I want to throw a discussion item out. I know the 18th is our next meeting. But I'd like to have just an open discussion on this at the
July 10th.
July 10th workshop. So if we can get that put on the agenda, I'd appreciate that. And then, Madam Mayor, I will give you an affirmative to table.
Okay. All right. So we'll put it on the July 10th workshop.
The
everybody vote?
discussion. No, we have not, but that's just a discussion item for the agenda. The other one, when we bring this back to the table, should be July 18th.
Okay, so discussion on July 10th and a vote on whether or not to get estimates, finish getting estimates on the 18th. Okay.
No, there needs to be a vote on the motion to table.
Yes.
Funk, aye.
Sandra, do I?
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right. And with that, I think I will call a 5-minute break and we'll go into executive session.
Do we expect action from the executive session? How much time do we need?
I don't know.
Any
Mr.
potential litigation, and I would expect it to at least be 20 minutes at least.
And there'll be no
25 minutes.
25 minutes and no action to be taken?
Unanticipated.
No, just-
Yes. Back in?
Yep.
Okay. We have now entered the executive session and the city council meeting is now resumed. Are there any council comments? There was no action on our executive session.
I have comments, Madam Mayor, this is Councilwoman Funk. I'd like to respectfully request that summer programs update be added to each council meeting for regular reports for the rest of the summer through that term of the individual, so we can have updates on the progress and engagement with people in our community.
Okay, we've had some major problems. The girl that was running the program came in on Friday and quit. I have subsequently found out that the forms that were written for the registration were never put on the city website. So there were some screw ups along the way. I'm having meetings scheduled with several teachers, hopefully next week, to try to come up with a path forward.
Okay. We'll wait to hear that update. Next.
Okay.
Might also like to ask that council respectfully considers canceling our meeting on Tuesday, August 1st in support of National Night Out. That's something we've done historically. So I want to just bring that up for future discussion in a meeting as an agenda.
Well, you got one meeting to do it, so go ahead and put it on the next agenda on the 18th, please. No offense. Anything else? Okay, so I'm going to throw out a comment and I'm just going to say I thank everybody for everything they're doing. And if that, then I will, if you have nothing, Madam Mayor, I'll motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
This phone.